Hey there guys, welcome back for your final exam review in your California geography course. The purpose of this video is to outline what to expect on the final exam. It's also going to outline kind of the wrap up of this course and just kind of get us moving along throughout that. So let's just jump right in. You have a final exam. A couple things to take note of. The beginning is that make sure you follow all the due dates that are posted on the Canvas exam itself. When you access the exam, it does give you an overview, which I'm going to talk about right now, but make sure that you're very clear with the time allotment, when it's due, when it's open, and stuff like that. That's really in your course, so make sure you follow that. So the exam itself for the final exam is very similar to the midterm, meaning that it is open note. So make sure that you have everything prepared for that. You will not have time to go back and forth and try to shuffle and find stuff. So make sure you have everything in front of you so you're prepared for the exam. The exam itself is going to have a mixture of true and false and multiple choice questions. They're going to come directly from the reading quizzes that you've had throughout our modules, as well as content found in the videos that have been shared throughout each module. That being said, you'll have a handful of those questions, but the bulk of the exam, the hardest part I would assume, is going to be the short answer or discussions at the end. You will have 3 random short answer or discussion prompts that you must answer. So that's really going to be the bulk of your time, because the true and false multiple choice, that's content that you pulled from the reading and the videos. This is the harder part, just like it was in the midterm. So some students asked, how do I prepare for these questions? I think the best way to prepare for this is to access the playlist that was created on my YouTube channel with the lectures from the California geography class. In fact, I'll share that link below within the module itself in the announcement that I'm sending out. Rewatch those lectures, speed them up a little bit and have them in the background, because the way that I lecture is a storytelling. That's how I learn, and that's really what these prompts or questions are. They're storytelling pieces. So I'm not looking for you to be able to talk and stress out about specific dates. I'm looking at broader content. So let me give you an example of a short answer prompt that you might get on the final exam. One might say, imagine that you're with some friends at a dinner party and just the idea of population pops up, that topic. And a friend of yours asks, do you think that there's been any events, social, historical, cultural events in California's history that we have seen a population increase? Well, the purpose of this discussion would be for you to discuss a couple little events that occurred in California history that we might have seen a result of population growth afterwards. Which was found directly, it's on a slide in one of the videos. So you'd be able to pull from that if you've watched it in advance. So they're very broad questions. Now that being said, the exam itself is not cumulative. It only takes the content post-midterm, which means that you'll be talking about things such as the geology of Southern California, Klamath Mountain, the plateau, things such as ethnic groups and culture itself. We'll also look at population, migration, historical and advanced economies, urban landscape, and the fast food and housing design, and even some of the California's environmental issues. So you have a handful of videos that you can rewatch to kind of get that broader text from, to be able to discuss. Again, I think of these as discussions, so I'm not looking for topic sentences and stuff like that. I'm looking for you to be able to discuss the topic and to the best of your ability. So you will have 3 of those. Then the last little piece on that exam is going to be an extra credit short answer response that is taken from one of the discussion boards that you did throughout, from the midterm to the final. So that's really the final exam. I think, again, the easiest part's going to be the multiple choice true and false, because that's going to be questions that you've seen already. The harder part will be the short answer prompts. And the best way to prepare for those, I think, is to genuinely just rewatch the lectures. Or if you have really good notes, then you're sitting on gold already. But it's just really broad topics that you'll be observed. That being said, the last part of this course will be your term paper that you've completed. So you'll be submitting that as well. So I really wanted to speak to that real quick. So again, the term paper was based off of a John Steinbeck book. I gave you an appropriate list of themed California books, also because they're shorter. I'm not making you read something that's, some of his novels, looking more of his short stories that could be done in, a couple days or an afternoon. Now, the purpose of this book report, or this term paper, is to discuss the location, to discuss the characters, main ideas, some specific quotes, things that you found interesting, things like that. So it's kind of like a synopsis or a review of the book. But the big connecting piece of the John Steinbeck book report and this course is, how are you going to integrate the geography? How are you going to talk about the locations, the geology, the landscape, the climate, the weather, the culture? How are you going to bring in all of the, throughout this entire course, we've covered so many incredible, different, multifaceted topics. How can you bring any of those topics into your paper? That's the purpose of this paper, is to bring in the understanding, like, okay, well, this story took place in the Salinas Valley. This story took place in this location. Why is that important? Why does the climate have anything to do with the importance of this book? Well, perhaps it has to do with agriculture. Well, that's why this book doesn't take place in Death Valley, or things like that. So make sure you're really trying to bring in that California geography aspect within the book itself. And I think that will make your life a lot easier. Be sure to also look at the rubric. So I do provide within the assignment a very clear, expectation of what the book report is, but at the bottom of the grade, when you submit the assignment, you will be able to access the rubric. So you'll kind of get an idea as to what I'm looking for. And I'm looking for very specific things that are weighed very heavily. So just make sure that you follow that, including, the length, or if you do quotes, or they, did you cite it correctly, and things like that. All right, well, that being said, I think that's all I have for you. I wanted to wrap up lastly just to say thank you. I really do appreciate it. I know that online courses are difficult as it is, so just thank you for your patience. Thank you for your time, your understanding. I'm taking student feedback, and I'm reintegrating and redesigning my classes, so I certainly appreciate your understanding and your feedback and stuff like that. Again, if you even have additional feedback that you'd like to share, I'm super open to that. Be sure to send that along my way. But just thank you for your time commitment, and I hope that you are able to view California through a different lens. I mean, we all know that California is the best state in the world, that's why we live here, but I'm hoping that there was something in this class that really resonated with you, that allows you to look at things differently. Obviously, I love everything that I do, because this is why I do it for a living, but I really enjoy talking about the urban landscape, when it comes to fast food, when it comes to architecture and things like that. So I hope that this class might have inspired you to look at some of the architecture in your local neighborhood, or looking at fast food design places and how they all may have a specific attribute to them and things like that. So I hope there was something that you walked away with and that you feel confident within that. But again, just really, I appreciate your time. Thank you for what you've done and continue to do. I wish you the best of luck in your academic career. I certainly hope to see you in one of the other many classes that I teach at this institution, and I just hope to see you again. And again, thank you so much, and we'll talk soon.